Okay, let's subnet the subnetting practice problems I gave you. Our first one, we have IP address of 74.96.226.128, and we're at a 25-bit network. Okay, and in this one we have two routers, and we've got a WAN connected between them. On this one we have 12 hosts, and on this one we have 50 hosts. Okay? What I typically do after I've written out my magic number cheat sheet over to the side so that it's easier for me to go through and do this quickly, the next chart that I typically come up with looks a bit like this. I have my subnet. That's typically I give them a name. So let's just give this one A, and we'll give this one B. Okay. I'm going to need my net ID. I need my first host, and that's my first usable. I want my last. I need my broadcast. I need to know what my subnet mask is. Okay, I need it in dotted decimal, and I'll also need it in binary. Okay. From the information I've gathered here, I should also be able to come up with my number of usable hosts, because you may be asked that at some point, and how many possible subnets can I have. Okay. Always start with your most host first. So that would mean that I'm going to start with my subnet A. And it starts at 74.96.226.128. Then I'm going to look at my chart and determine which magic number I'm going to use. So the magic number that I'm going to use that fits this best is 64. Okay, so you're going to add 64 to the 128. So that gives me 74.96.226.192, and that's where my next subnet will begin. Okay, so my net ID is the 74.96.226.128, and I have to find out my first host, usable host, my last usable host, my broadcast, my mask. My usable host is going to be 62 because I had 64 as my magic number and I had to subtract 2 from that. And I know that from this particular setting that I could possibly have up to 4 subnets. Okay, so the easiest way to find your broadcast ID is it's one less than the next network's ID. So my broadcast for A is going to be 74.96.226.191. To make sure that you have your broadcast ID set correctly, your broadcast IDs are always going to be odd when we're working with IPv4. So my first usable is the next one after my net ID. Okay, my last one will be the one right before my broadcast. Okay, my dotted decimal is going to be 255.255.255. Okay, what's it going to be from there? I used the magic number 64, and it is a 26 network. So you would look on your chart to see what that's going to be, and that's going to be a .192. Okay, make sure that you turn on 26 ones when you do it in binary. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, that's 24, 25, 26. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the rest zeros. Okay, so this is your subnet mask in dotted decimal and your subnet mask in binary. You have 62 usable hosts, possible 64 subnets, and the prefix is a /26. Okay, then we move to our next subnet, subnet B. We need 12 hosts. So the magic number that we're going to use there is 16. So I'll start with my next subnet. So 16 plus 192 is 208. Okay, that helps me come up with my broadcast because it's one less than my next network ID. Okay, as long as it's odd, you're probably on the right track. Okay, so we come back in and we fill in our first usable host. And our last is one before this one. Okay, and then this one we chose as a /28. Okay, so that means we turn on 28 ones, and then that would give us 4 zeros. Okay, and its subnet mask in dotted decimal is going to be 255. 255.240. Check your magic number chart that you created and you can get that easily. You know that your usable hosts are 14. Your possible subnets are 16. Now if you look at this, you may think that you have finished, but you have not. Don't forget about this subnet here. That is your WAN. Okay? And a WAN needs 2 usable hosts. So remember what I told you with your magic numbers. It's always going to be the /30. Okay, because it's going to be the 255.255.255.252 because you need 2 usable hosts. Okay. On this one, it's fairly easy to do because you only have the 4. You have the net ID. You have the first, the last, and the broadcast. Okay. I hope this helps you understand how to do the first example in your subnetting problems.